Popping kisses.
Hello, everybody. Whoops, caught you. Diana and I are both have throat lozenges in our mouths, so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Our apologies already. Hi, Annie Bear. How are you? Lottie B, beautiful. Hypnicity. Hey, Hypnicity. Susie 007, Sharon Donnelly. Yeah, Annie Bear, I hope you're okay. So here we are today. I'm Terry and holding your space, and this is Diana Boyles. And Diana also does astrology readings. I put that in the description
Too.
underneath in ways to contact you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, if you want a great, phenomenal astrology reading, go to Diana. So,
Thank
yeah. Hey, Michelle and Sharon and Rossi. So today we are continuing in the laws and truths, universal laws and truths. And today is the law of compensation.
you. Reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And so many of us have a problem with that, right?
Yeah.
We this is not part of the victimization, but we just don't think we deserve it. Why? Is it something that we have been programmed with from childhood? Because you don't deserve that. You haven't done anything good to get that. And then when you do get something, there isn't always the accolade behind it that would say, well, you did something and this is your reward. So, having been a preschool teacher and kindergarten teacher, catch them being good is the first step to compensation. Because if
Yeah.
all you're saying is no, 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 like that little naughty puppy, the puppy will learn, but that doesn't mean when your back is turned, he won't do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that, Diana. Hi, Carolyn, Sonia, warrior girl. I feel like and that brings to mind like my son had some learning disabilities. I had learning disabilities, but nobody flagged them until, I was out of college, didn't finish college because of it. And but now I know what it is, and the tools that they use like that, like early childhood development, and giving extra time or a silent place for somebody to take their test or any of these little accommodations, they're good for everybody.
Right?
And yeah, and we don't realize that, I think, in education and in business and everything. They're always good for everybody, all those things.
Exactly. One of the rules is um, change change what you're change how you look and you change what you look at.
Mhm.
Right? If you change how you're looking at it. So when you take a child and give them a quiet zone, which amounts to a timeout, but he doesn't know that if you don't use the words. If you
Yeah.
don't identify it as a naughty thing, but rather a compensation for the behavior you had. Because anger is something else that we are taught we can't have.
Yeah.
But we have the right to be angry. It is
Right.
how you present it, right?
Yeah, for
Now
sure.
that's a whole nother rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, totally it is. Yeah, to understand that we don't have to stuff our feelings.
Yes. I love that,
Yeah,
Annie.
go in the buffet, Annie.
Yeah.
Smorgasbord.
Yep. I'll take creamy white light. Thank you very much.
Yeah, with the dollop of rose quartz.
Mm.
Yeah. So recognize, and we got off on another tangent. Sorry, because that is so easily done. Pitter patter, pitter patter.
That's
We're
it, right?
bored.
That's what we get for starting with lozenges in our mouth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't have colds, or I don't. I just I have a little square of dark chocolate every day with my tea, and
Well,
I
I
melt it
have
in my mouth.
allergies that have turned into this. Get go buy a box of Mucinex, which they made me leave my ID
Oh,
because now you can get high with Mucinex. Who knew?
yeah, yeah. Oh, Lori. Okay, Lori says we call it reset and redirect in my family.
I
As
like
a
that.
family, we all do. Nothing is ever directed to my grandson only. I love that. Yeah, and it is reset and redirect, isn't it? I mean, you are
hmm
just
which,
moving the attention.
which is another thing because that child also will see parents do the same thing, throw things, scream, curse, have a little temper tantrum over something that didn't go right. And they don't get placed in timeout. So, what are you teaching and how are you teaching it?
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah, we're just not allowed to hurt ourselves or anyone else, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Right.
that does happen too.
And the another thing that I used to see work with many of the kids was, would you like a place to go where you could just pull yourself back together? Depending on how precocious the child was as to how I would present it. But when you pose it as if it's their option, you know, they usually go off, start hearing all the good stuff that's there without them doing the echo chamber of the naughty stuff. And they go back and join in. And the kids are always receptive because they're still kids. They're still young and understand because they have that same urge.
Yeah, yeah. Warrior Girl says they have been doing that in New York City or NYS.
Mm-hmm.
Going on a dozen years now, have to show ID, fill out paper. Oh,
Oh, oh, oh.
for the medicine.
Well,
Wow, you have to sign the form, Warrior Girl? Man, for sinus meds, yeah.
well, yeah, for Sudafed,
Mm.
I don't have to sign a form, but I do have to get it from the pharmacy and show my ID. And they probably just keep a rolling record from my
Yeah,
license. But I
yeah,
don't do Sudafed because I don't like the effects. But there are times in the spring because it's my allergies are tree molds and dead leaf mold. And of course, that's what's all over the ground until we get a good hard freeze and some real snow, which we haven't had yet. So
yeah,
it goes away, and 3 days later, it's right back.
yeah, yeah. So, talking about the law of compensation.
Yeah.
Oilpntr
Yes.
coming
Ralph
back.
Waldo Emerson wrote in a paper. He said, each person is compensated in like manner for that which they have contributed. Now, that's a little paraphrasing because he designated male, female, but that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, why do we have a hard time saying, okay, especially in our community of woo woo, I need X amount of money for this reading?
Mhm.
Because we do.
Yeah.
So, there are a million other ways of compensation, but it's that feeling of greed. Where does that feeling of greed come from? Because
It's learned.
it's learned. That's what throws that. For me, it's more about the Catholic Church and having been brought up poor. But there was always money to put in the basket, both baskets, one with
Oh,
the
yeah.
envelope and one out of the kid's pocket.
Yeah.
Teach
There's,
them pithing.
yeah, Annie termed that up, fear of lack. That's right, Annie Bear.
Yes.
Um, totally. And I feel like, that's a really good comment there because there's a lot of ancestral trauma there too that we inherit. If your parents were brought up in the or your grandparents were brought up in the depression, so there's
My parents.
scarcity,
Yeah.
like that scarcity mindset, and we are brought up with that, aren't we? That
Hmm.
we should buy everything we can see at you know the big box stores and everything, and we don't deserve um, maybe one nice thing instead of 10 moderate things, right?
Yeah.
And also that we don't that we have to keep buying where we
Yeah.
really don't. There's that. I know for me, my mom was brought up in the. I say this all the time. My mom was brought up in the Holocaust, but there was. It didn't matter how much money you had. There was
Nothing.
no food available, and
There
I
was
know
nothing.
that's all over the world right now,
Hmm.
and it always has been.
Hmm.
And um, it's like I still have that thing, and it really took getting a compost bin to really get it under control a little bit better because every week I can visually see everything that we've not eaten or we've wasted, and it has made a huge difference.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I've been composting for years, but it does make a difference, and definitely, my parents were brought up during the Depression here, and family over in Poland and Germany during the Holocaust. And so I understand that whole mentality.
yeah,
But you'd be amazed at what you can do with a brown paper bag.
yeah,
From insulation to clothing to all kinds of things, right? So I'm a hoarder. I have a collection of brown paper bags that you would not believe. But I also knew how to put them to work for my preschoolers because they were vests for Native Americans. They turned into Thanksgiving Day bags. They were owl costumes. They were just a million different things. So collecting them I always had some place to put them.
yeah.
Now
We always
they
have.
collect bird droppings.
Okay. Yeah, it's smart. Yeah, we always collected those, and then
Uh-huh.
my mom didn't throw away a piece of uh,
But
aluminum foil or anything. Yeah, or any of the little jars that we get. I mean,
well,
and we did. We reused everything.
because we were of that generation where this stuff was being invented. We were of that generation that was coming up after World War II, when for the first time in the average person's life, there was abundance to be had. It wasn't, people were able to work more. The auto industry, the airplane industry, the industries that were out there that were growing and growing and growing, that
Yeah.
were giving everybody a sense of a comfort zone that they didn't know before. Materials
Mhm.
were available at a rate at which they weren't available before. Machinery. Welcome to the age of innovation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Society built on being a what's it called? A shopper, but it's not called a shopper. It's called a somebody here knows,
Consumer.
consumer based society. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
So you reap what you sow, your efforts and contribution, right? Your efforts and your contribution will always be compensated, whatever it is, however great or small that it is. So, in that compensation, even just the satisfaction of having done a good job. Yep, a lot. Yep, definitely. Got another box tucked inside of it just in case.
yeah.
Now we
Yeah.
have gift bags.
Yeah.
Yep,
Making
brooms.
brooms out of straw. Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
And that's good. I mean, that's good to know. But I feel like there's a balance now, right?
Hmm.
And we're there. We're getting there. We're at a balance. We just have to know that our worth. So we were talking about before we got on about stepping into your prosperity
Right.
and stepping through that threshold, and which is an odd thing to say. And I've been hearing it all my life, but I'm finally knowing it, like being able to step into that place where you have what you need, you have everything you need, and knowing that I don't have to be sick. Like you don't have to necessarily wish for a lottery ticket, winning lottery ticket, but to know that my house is safe,
Hmm.
and to know that I have enough for this year and the next several years or whatever. I'll never be, you know, everybody will be taken care of. Um, yeah, and it's interesting that you brought this up, Lori, because your dad always called those days the American Dream Day. Later, he would say the dream turned into an effing nightmare, right? And that's what so many kids are dealing with now, and so they're turning their backs on society, or
Sure.
the consumerism of society.
Well, and Einstein said, beware of the machine, because it is all part of that dream machine that was created in industry.
Yeah,
Henry Ford and the assembly line.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. Right. It
right?
is. Hey, Jeff. He's in on the Uber watching the Route 3 South come back from Braintree. Good, honey. I hope you're doing okay, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you for checking in. Keep checking in.
Yes. You're in
Always check in.
thoughts.
Yeah.
So it also says that you can never be compensated in the long term for the same thing. Because when you're compensated, you're receiving that compensation for what you did in the past. So
Yeah.
even though we have, what do you call it, royalties, they're fractionated compared to what it was when you really did it. It's all based on an algorithms and who's watching and how long you're going to be in play, and MASH episodes and old I Love Lucy and things like that. And that goes, there's a royalty for all of those. And then it reaches a certain age where you buy a package, and they play so many episodes in a row that were all part of a package, and now that royalty that goes to the estate is lessened and lessened and lessened. But still, that compensation is there for something that was done in the past, right?
Hmm.
It's just less because the input is different. It's not the whole physical energy going into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. And it's kind of coming from, um, I think, I mean, there is only now, right? And even though we're in 3D, it's very dense, so things might be coming in a little bit later. But I feel like in 5D, as we're moving into this new dimension,
Mm-hmm.
it's more instantaneous, and we kind of make fun of. I mean, we don't make fun of them, but we talk about instant gratification. And is instant gratification that horrible premise? I mean, is that like if we're walking into our prosperity, maybe it is instantaneous.
Well, I agree, because it's instant gratification when I get down on my hands and knees and scrub the floor and get up and go, whoa, no streaks. you know, because I mean, if you make the job enjoyable, the compensation is just how it makes you feel. And if you need, when you're in a glad place, when you're happy, when your visions are clear and clean and put you in a lifted state, you're automatically putting your mind in a lifted state to see more of that same thing, to manifest more of what you're putting out there. You put out that job because you liked it. Hated the fact that I was on my knees scrubbing, liked the results. But the way to be okay with being on hands and knees, doing it that way once a year, I'm doing cow cats and up dogs, down dogs, and throwing yoga in there because now it's an exercise. Now there's a physical reward that goes with it as well.
I'm so glad you brought that up. So I feel like being present in anything that we're doing, no matter how menial it is, like scrubbing floors or toilets or whatever, it can be a study in presence. I know Kim and two of you, this is one of her meditative states is housework, which I think is amazing. And I'm like, because I would find myself sometimes cleaning things and thinking, and then I have to think, well, remember Kim, this is her meditation time. Get some enjoyment out of it. Have some fun with it.
Yeah, I just call it playing with my toys.
Oh, I love that, Diana.
Because they're my toys. I'm a grown up, or so they keep telling me. So it may still be dolls, but that's what I call it, because dusting, it doesn't bother me to do that. That's the kind of stuff that makes me feng shui. I move it, know, even if it's only an inch, it's the same spot, but it looks a little better over here today,
Right. Moving around your accessories.
Yeah.
Mary says, we also live in a time where we can now actually accomplish feeding the world does have enough. But the way nations are set up, we choose not to and make poor feel guilty, and it's their fault.
Right.
Oh, Mary, that is so, so true, honey.
And so what do we do a lot in this community is to try to put that positive energy out there, right? Fill the mind with visions of success.
Yeah. Yeah. Carolyn says, at one point, my father worked 3 jobs just to keep us going. He had a great job with a major car manufacturer, but he still needed more money. We weren't fancy, just a normal family. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to that era through the end of the 50s, 60s, when you got to have more. You got to have more. That whole keeping up with the Joneses and the whole manicured front lawn and
right.
Yeah.
And do we even need to have a lawn? No.
Because you can always find someplace in nature to go.
Yeah. Kimberly says, working with homeless showed me what abundance really is. That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, nice. Annie Bear brings it all about. Are we talking about spiritual wealth? Because, honey, we're loaded.
We are. That's great. True. Now, then let's talk about the financial, because there is that. We want to be comfortable. We want to be comfortable enough to help others who we deem worthy of the help. And that's fine, because you have to use judgment and you can't support everybody.
Yeah.
So pick 1 or 2 causes that make sense to you. But you have to have money to do that, or time and talent to offer. And so how do you do those kind of charitable things without being dormant and allowing that whole scenario to begin? Even in our everyday lives, when you give and give and give to a family member, let's say, and it just becomes a regular thing, and you never get a return on it. You never get what's owed you, and then you never get a return on it when you are in a place of need. You're still muted.
Oh. Thanks. I'm sorry, Annie. She says, I've been treated subhuman by others at vulnerable times in my life. Made me tight with spirit early in nature. Beautiful, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Aw. Yeah. We were a loving family, thank God. Yeah, we grew up in not a great part of town, and I always thought we were rich. I
Yeah,
didn't know we weren't
I
rich.
had no clue.
I
I
mean,
was
we
eating
had
ketchup soup.
yeah, we had 4 bedrooms, and they weren't big bedrooms, and there were 7 of us, but so a lot of it
Two.
went together,
We
but
had 2 bedrooms,
yeah. Yeah.
3 kids, and then my dad finished off the attic. So then we had 4.
Yeah.
But then we had to move. So
Yeah.
because life got in the way. So our mental attitudes and our feelings and our happiness and our satisfaction, they are also the result of our own thoughts. So fill yourself with visions and language that says success, positivity. Reap those experiences that in your daily life that you want to experience by creating that in the things you do experience. And when you put more than you take out, that overcompensation, that kind of sounds like a conundrum of words, overcompensation. Yet you're putting out more than you're getting back, right? But what do you get it back in? You earn it in showing, you earn it back in esteem. And you earn it back in showing that you're prepared for a job and a better job. And because I do a better job to begin with, I can reach this plateau and I can reach this plateau.
Mhm. Yeah. And again, that's another conundrum. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Giving more sometimes because it depends on who you're giving it to. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if we're giving to our kids, right, they need the figuring out how to give to themselves, how to get. So that's something I'm still learning, I think. But to and they don't like it either. So let's be clear about that. But I feel like coming from abundance as far as our thoughts and words to ourselves and how we feel and giving ourselves rewards. I mean, that is such a small thing. They just did a study, I think it was Harvard a while back, just like a month or 2 ago, that they came out with the results. But they were talking about like you take a test pilot and you say 21 days or a month, and you're going to do one small gift for someone else every day. Like you're going to buy the person behind you at the coffee shop coffee, put $5 towards their coffee, or maybe you're going to leave pennies by the tree in the neighborhood that the kids walk by or something.
Yeah.
Well, they'd probably want dimes. Let's be frank. They might not know what a penny was,
Yeah.
but putting things out there and helping people with things, opening a car door for not a car door, a store door for
Yeah.
somebody, and doing this on a daily thing. It changed the way people's brains worked physically. The endorphins that they got every day from
Mm-hmm.
that,
Right.
it was huge. It changed their lives. So just meditating every day
Yeah.
changes your.
Right. It's part of the process of pay it forward. It's putting it in the bank for when you're in a place where you really need it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, this is true, but that's why I'm growing my food and my extras, which really right now there aren't any. But everybody around here is like this. And when they have an overabundance of things, it's on the table for free at the end of their driveway for free. Or
Yeah.
just on, because a lot of them are dirt roads around here or whatever. It's just on a table with a big sign, free.
Yeah. Yeah. Grow food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypnosis, yeah. I don't grow my own. I live in the city and we've got a lot of squirrels. And when I have tried, let's face it, I have a brown thumb. I really do, guys. That is not my gift.
The squirrels don't seem to mind your brown thumb, so you're feeding them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Because
I
them
spend,
little buggers in the city will attack everything.
oh my God, I can easily spend $80 putting out plants in the spring and I get like like one eggplant and three tomatoes, but it's not, yeah,
Yeah.
they're rather expensive. So I have discontinued. Look on the bright side. We do have tech farms around. Yeah, going to feed the world. Incredible. And need to work on a different distribution. Yeah, oh, we've seen that they will have the houses that will help them grow it, and they'll be growing vertically. And there'll be little greenhouses, big greenhouses.
And
So
solar panels on one side.
yeah, yeah,
You know, there's so many different ways now with all of the technology that we have, right?
yeah.
And I'm not propagating taking away people's free will. We still have to, teach a man to fish and he'll feed himself forever, right?
Yeah.
My currency is different too.
Mhm.
I know it. But I was brought up in a generation of people who didn't have it to begin with, were generous almost to a fault, and never stopped to think about the debt, the whole of the debt, and how deep it got. And that's where my biggest struggle comes. Because give it, do it, da 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 da. And then I look and it's like, oh, I forgot to save for this, and I forgot to save for that, and I forgot to put that away. And then I look towards the astrology and say, well, that's my baby Jupiter. Because my baby Jupiter is 1 degree in Aquarius. Oh boy, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, we're sorry for that, Annie Bear. I feel like there's so many positive things here. I mean, today they were talking about Biden's plan towards the infrastructure, and they've done water tests. We always talk about getting a water filter system, and the iron pipes, and all over the United States, they think it'll cost between 15 to $20 billion to replace them.
Oh yeah.
And they have earmarked already 15 billion, and the money is there. It's already been gathered by the infrastructure plan. So they are working on that, but that's just one thing that who knows when that's going to happen, right?
Well, we're one less person to worry about as of this morning. Standing in the way.
That is true. That is so true. So yeah, so standing in our light and knowing that we are going to be okay, that we have what we need, but also not being positive about it to the point of being, that toxic positivity, but just knowing and walking into it. Yeah, and hypnicity, you lived in a woman's garage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's tough times that we've all been through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in those FGOs, right? The effing growth opportunities that we've all had.
Mm-hmm.
And look at you now, hypnicity, you're amazing. I mean, everybody, loves hearing from you, and you always have
Yes.
such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so how is compensation different from cause and effect? Because last time we were together, we talked about cause and effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But cause and effect is the spark to change something, which is not the same as compensation.
Yeah, it's true. And compensation is like, as I understand it, compensation is the end effect of cause and effect,
Yes.
that you are just in the receiving mode. And I think we're going to take it one step further in 5D with this new blue light that's coming in, and that we're just there. Like, I feel like karma's old news. There is
Yeah.
no more karma. We're not working on, like, we can learn lessons from these past lives that we've had, but we are releasing the karma as we come into this new light. We are living from a level or a dimension where we're no longer worried about the constructs of society. And a lot of that is karmic, isn't it? Because everything changes and we're working together.
And ancestral. I mean,
Yeah.
you think the things that we hold in our DNA that are ancestral, these are also things that we are releasing. It does. I'm a big history lives in my blood kind of a person, you know. I can envision that life that I had in the past because I still carry that DNA, or I still carry some sort of a scar, be it a good scar or a bad scar. I mean, it could be a nice strawberry birthmark or a star-shaped blue dot that I have that is just like, that's a 5-pointed star. How did that get there? That's where my star seed was planted, right? It's right on this shoulder.
Wow.
And it's blue. Who gets a blue birthmark? You know? Anyway,
that's a mark.
that's a mark. I make myself speechless with it because I just look at it in the mirror sometimes and go, "Oh, thank you. This is why I have such a blessed life."
Yeah. Yeah. Carolyn.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just
Oh,
saying that.
Carolyn says, I grew up in a town where female gangs would cut off your tights with razor blades. They put girls with blonde hair and blue eyes in the hospital. The head girl said I treated her as a human. Wow. I'm so sorry. And Carolyn, look at you now. You would never.
No.
No.
But I get it.
Too much.
Now, I don't know what town you grew up in, but I grew up in Detroit. So, just saying. There were greasers.
Yeah.
They were greasers. And, you know, I come back to Michigan and I go, you know, this state has always been a state filled with thugs. What am I? There's nothing different. But I guess we could say that about every place we go, because there's always somebody who's the hard arm.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot of homeless people. Yeah. We have a lot of homeless people here too, Fatima. They can do something about it. If they can raise, you know,
well, we can go back to Reagan.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who created the biggest part of the issue right now, which has grown into this issue that it is now. So does your life represent what it is you want?
Yeah.
What did you misunderstand? I didn't read all of that.
Oh, Annie Bear says, I think I misunderstood money because it's often intertwined with ego. I'm loath to be a big ego fathead, so I only need enough money to do good.
Yeah. Well, I never had any. And what I did get from babysitting or anything like that, I had to give to my parents. And I didn't know that other kids had their money. And no clue. So I never had it. So I was never taught how to handle it. And it didn't change me as I got older, because I got that 1 degree Jupiter. But they weren't doing, you know, they didn't do it to punish me. They needed it.
Yeah, some fool gave me American Express when I was in my 20s. I learned the hard way. Another effing growth opportunity.
Yeah, right.
That was
Well,
not the right thing to
I'm
do.
getting one at age 75 here. I'm just like, oh, well. But I am not going to give up. I can do
Oh,
this.
Annie Bear. Wow. Look at you now. Amazing. Yeah.
Annie Bear, we have that in common. That happened to me too. I did miscarry, but that happened to me too.
Wow, Lori. Grew up on the north side of Houston.
Mm.
Teenage boys taught us how to hotwire cars. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, greasers. Lori, are we the same age? A lot of that was going on in Detroit. Of course, there were a lot of rum runners during the days of Prohibition going over the bridge into Canada because Kessler's plant was right over there.
Oh, yeah. We had, my parents, like I said, I always thought we were rich because my mom worked and my dad worked. And they had good jobs for back then. But they also had 5 kids, and that we were a bit of a drain. But but I that's one thing I did try really hard to do to make enough money. And I always had enough money. I did get myself into trouble financially a few times,
Yes.
but I always had enough. I did have horrible relationships too until I really learned about that. I think that was more my learning. That was my poverty, were
Yeah.
those relationships.
And you're not alone. I know you know that. And
Yeah.
that's part of what I went through as well. And Annie Bear, and I'm sure so many others that are here in this community have gone through that same, which always comes right back to you don't deserve it. And where did that thought come from?
Yeah.
That's the one that gets me going every time.
Yeah. That sometimes that's our worth. I know. Yeah. When we had our business, we had a small land surveying business, and we worked a lot in areas that were a lot of poverty, and they always paid really well, and in cash usually. I mean, right when the job was done, and then we worked in the really nice. And there's a lot of money in my city, in those nice areas, and it would be 6 months almost before you get paid. It was just like, it didn't make any difference to how somebody was going to pay their bills. You knew they had it, but would they give it?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, you just don't know what they've got. Anyway, so coming from Typnicity, my dad helped save priceless art and wines from the Germans. Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. My mom's family had I think it was the Schlitz beer, had stolen the recipe from her family's brewery.
Oh,
And
no.
they got some money back, like in the 70s, I think. But it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Mary says, let's see. There we go. Back then, you could have a good job and a decent house and a college education. But now 100,000 cars. Yeah. $500,000 houses, 100,000 college loans, and $11 per hour wages. Yeah. Yeah. I went to Target today, and so they're reducing. I judge things by Amy's. Amy meals,
Oops.
the frozen meals.
Yes.
They're $8 at my grocery store.
That's
$7.99.
ridiculous.
So I went to Target. Yeah, I went to Target today, and I'm like, I'm going to see how much the Amy's are. I might get myself, the vegan meatloaf and mashed potatoes I love. So I go in there to look at that. Well, they're $6.99, but they said, reduction with a coupon. to 529 or something. And I thought, and then I went and saw another window and they had all the new ones coming in at 529. And so I think the prices are starting to go back down slowly.
Well,
But
I can.
it made
I
me mad.
agree.
I'm not going to buy them.
Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and cook
Yeah.
because I'm a vegan. I'm happy with applesauce. You know,
Yeah.
I'll eat. I almost ate a whole jar of sauerkraut, McClure's sauerkraut, because it was so good, and I'm like, well, that's as many calories as is in a meal anyway. Why not just eat this? There's less, and I can drink the vinegar, which is good for me, especially with this stuff in my head. So, but I digress. But it's true. It's ridiculous. It's just so gas prices here have gone down to $2.93, which is great.
That's low.
That's like
293.
that's like 80s in Virginia.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
I can remember paying 28 cents for gas. I can remember walking to the Clark station to get my mother a pack of Herbert Tarleton, no filters, Herbert Tarleton cork filter, no filter rather, cork end, cigarettes for 28 cents, and gas was 21 cents a gallon. It was a nickel more to buy a pack of cigarettes than it was to get a gallon of gas. And that was like 1962, 61, 62. Anyway.
Lori, we were feral too. We were running out in the woods all day and playing and, you know.
It's like they never thought to just come home when the street lights are on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was a safer time, I guess.
Well, yeah, but they didn't realize the sexual revolution was going on.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, and I'm 10 years older than that because I wasn't a child then. I was the hippie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love sauerkraut too, Hypnicity. Yeah.
Yeah. I make some outrageous kraut, but I'm out of vinegar.
Yeah. Who can't afford to go out, right? It is expensive. Yeah. Oh, Janet says Annie Bear, she keeps wondering about the birthmark connection with her mom. Oh, is it at the base of the spine or the sort of the root chakra? I think that that if you're refusing to that dark mark with the indigenous peoples like Siberians, the ones in Australia and North America and South America, it's all interconnected. Siberia. I think it's at the base of the spine, isn't it, Andy? Or Annie? I'm pretty sure. Sauerkraut and beets. Get out of town.
Yum. Gotcha, girl. Because sauerkraut, when it's made like beets, is awesome. When they're pickled together.
Yeah. I've never heard of that, but I want that right now.
And back in the day when I ate herring, with herring, yum, on Wasserbroad.
Yep. My dad would keep the big jar of herring in the refrigerator, and it stunk so bad. And my mom was the only person I knew that ate that stinky cheese.
Oh, Limburger. Yeah. We ate Limburger.
Oh yeah.
And white onion on rye bread.
Red onion on pumpernickel with cream cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you had it right.
Yeah. Lori, I started dinner every night too. You became the third parent. This is interesting because a lot of us became the third parent, I think. And it's called parentification, I believe. And I didn't realize that this was like an archetype or a diagnosis until recently. And then I'm like, oh, well, no wonder I want to overmother every person I meet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oldest.
Yeah, I'm second oldest.
Are you the first oldest girl?
No, but my sister was not around a lot.
Okay.
So she was gone a lot. That's all we'll say about that. So, yeah. Yeah, we could play outside until the sunset, Foxy Roxy. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Hypnicity. Your grandma, mom, and cousin all passed away February 3rd in 3 separate years.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, they just wanted to have 3 cups up there on the tarot card themselves.
It must be such a powerful tool for you, Hypnicity.
This is Tesla's code right here. 333
333. Yeah.
369. The goose drank wine.
Yeah.
Rode the back of the streetcar line.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So,
So you get what you give.
yeah.
And if we can just keep ourselves in this positive frame of mind.
Yeah.
And Janet is here. Can I address that? Because
Yeah.
I don't know if she saw my text or my chat in this morning's chat. Janet, you said you saw standing stones. Is that correct? I'm doing a bunch of research and deep diving in some of my old books because I'm getting ready to do a show with Allie on Elena the Trods. And on my lap during meditation is one of my books, open to a page with standing stones. On top of that is my journal, my notes for the thing. And I had just gotten done writing about the singing stones and writing down how I want to present this thing. And off into La La Land we went, right? And then when we came back, you were talking about the standing stones. My feeling is you saw my books. You saw our community was working together on what we were working on.
Yeah. She said, Castle Rig Stone Circle in the Lake District. Been there.
This was what the picture was that was open on my lap was rolling, what's it called? Rolling Right?
Yeah.
Which is off to the left of that place, according to this book.
Yeah. That's beautiful land. Boy, that is incredible. I was just looking at some pictures from there this week that showed up on.
You were bringing it in.
That's so funny. Oh,
Well,
talking about the
yes.
birthmark that matches her mom's exactly. You know, I'm wondering. That's interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to have been in this lifetime either, but I've got a lot of Norwegian too, Janet. I've got Ashkenazi Jew and Viking. That's crazy. So, yeah. I think one reason that we can both think fast on our feet is it taught us to see life differently, caring for ourselves as little bitties. Yeah.
It kept us in a state of preparedness.
Yeah.
And almost like there's always a way to wiggle out of something.
Ooh, like a fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And people have told me that when I've had readings, that I have this ability to like a fox to move in and around.
Mm-hmm. And be invisible while standing right in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How many times have you gone to a party and tested that?
Not very often, but I've done it in other situations where I've gotten myself into danger and I've known exactly what to say to move around. Oh, it's got to mean something. Any priestess connection for Janet? Oh, yeah.
With standing stones, sure, because they're all ritual places.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Annie, we know that we were all there together. I mean, I believe that so many of us in this community have overlapping. Here's some compensation for you. We've all lived together before. We're still in the same orb, just in a different zone.
Yeah. Yeah, Sonia, we are all strong. Oh, Fox helped Annie Bear disappear too. Do you guys remember who Jeffrey Dahmer was?
Yes.
I used to hang out with him at the park. In
My
circle.
claim to fame is what's his name?
Oh,
Help
no, it's Bob
Shelter.
Wardella, not Jeffrey Dahmer. Bob Wardella.
Okay.
Yeah, the other mass
The other
murderer.
The other mass murder. Mine was what's his face? Helter Skelter.
Oh, Mason.
Yes.
Manson.
In LA. I
Yeah.
became Fox and just disappeared right in front of him.
Wow.
He was very good looking back then. Seriously. We're talking hippie, long hair, standing outside the Whiskey A Go-Go on LA Strip.
Yeah.
And this was about a month before the event. And I looked at him and I saw those eyes and it just like, and just, your good looks aren't worth nothing because there's something evil brewing in you.
Don't you? I think your guides tell you what to say. You don't know you're saying it when you're saying it, and your guides should tell you what to say. This is all mind blowing. We are all like, we got way away from compensation. We're talking.
I will say, but this must have been something that we need to talk about because
it's a
we
pitter
keep
patter.
trying to go back to compensation, but maybe that's what this is.
Yeah.
This is our compensation for being together in this community now as we once were in past lives.
Yeah. Whoa. Warrior Girl says, my parents camped out with Charlie Manson the night before they attacked Sharon, and my mom was pregnant with me. He freaked both my parents out. Wow.
Okay. I get it.
Wow. It's amazing how close we come to
I might have been panhandling with your mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. It was such a time, It was Woodstock. It was the year after Woodstock.
Yeah. I'm after Woodstock, but I'm in a smaller town, so it took a while for it to get to our town. Well, but yeah, we would hang out in the woods and smoke.
I was on my way to Woodstock, but the guy who was driving got busted with pot in his pocket. So we didn't go. We went to Goose Lake here in Michigan instead.
Wow. Oh, Hypnicity says yes. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. Wow. That's interesting, isn't it? How we fly. And sometimes we do attract dark moths to us, like the light to a flame, right? We really do. Oh. Annie Bear was kidnapped as a child. Oh my God, Annie Bear. Yeah. Mom took me and Dad drove around Goodwill, Ben. We were hiding. Oh, honey. Thank God he found you. He was divinely guided. That's for sure. We all do need to be a movie. I bet we could do a major, screenplay.
Yeah.
And we each get to pick out who gets to play us.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
How is Annie? It's horrific, and I understand it because I've been there, and I've been when I hadn't been able to escape as well. So many of us here have been through all of that. That whole Me Too movement was such a big help to bring light to the abuse of that stealing of power, divinity over you. It's not the act of the sex, it's the power that is incorporated with that because you're helpless.
They say that's like the major sin right there, to take away another person's power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a trip. Yeah, how much we lived through, right? Roxy? Yeah. Amazing. And I love that Warrior Girl said that she considered that her first NDE, because I know that I've had them, but I don't know when. But yeah, that makes perfect sense when we've been in moments of being powerless.
Yep.
And, you know, and yet you know just what to say to get out of that situation.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And sometimes it's just roll over and play dead.
Yeah.
Because if you fight, they're looking, they want to fight.
Yeah.
That whole thing is a fight to them.
Yeah. No wonder we're all, yeah, we are all family, Annie Bear. That's what
Yes.
this is. Yeah. Yeah. Boy, we've been through a lot. Man, we developed this law of compensation.
Into what? Into healing. It's become a healing moment for us all, right?
Yeah. Totally.
A release. This is
Healing
Venus
moment.
on the South Node. Yes.
And
Release,
it is amazing.
release. Venus, the goddess of all.
Yeah. Maybe we need to do the next show when we talk about things, or maybe that's not our story anymore.
Right.
So, I feel like I've been through a lot, but it's not my story anymore.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's the last time we were together, it was cause and effect.
Yeah.
This is our compensation for the cause and effect it's had. But compensation is the energy return of action. So be mindful of what you are sending out, because that's what you're getting back. We are sending out release and forgiveness for ourselves, for how we blamed ourselves for all of that. Because we were also in a generation that held you responsible for your victimhood.
Yeah. We also weren't taught to use our voices.
Exactly. And now we can. And that is compensation.
Yeah. That's definitely compensation. Oh, Rossi. So sorry, honey. He walked away, the knife. Oh my God. Yeah. We were the bridge builders and the way showers. Yeah. We're grown.
We were the Elan of the Trogs. We were the creator.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we go, everybody.
Yeah, here's a book full of notes. Oh, well, we went off another rabbit hole. But I believe it was meant to be. It was worth it.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, hypnicity, right? Blaming ourselves for being there and what they do to us. And so that's a good point. And letting go of that fear and forgiving. Because they're not carrying it around anymore.
Right.
And the longer that we blame them, we don't forget about them, but we really forgive that little girl or that little boy that was being hurt. Let go. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, Ingrid's date is here. She's going out for afternoon coffee. So I've met this fella and he's nice. He's not Ted Bundy or Bob Bordello. Manson. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody have a beautiful day. And I just love that we can have these conversations and go off and find out to give a release to everything that we've been through.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And today at 4:00, I'll be on Allie's channel, and that's going to be a little bit brighter. As it turns out, that's going to be about oracles and archetypes.
Little more open.
Yeah, a little more open. Yeah. And
I think
then
we just had such a safe collection of people here. We went that way.
that's exactly right, that we can all open up and let go. Yeah. And it seems like this is the week for telling our stories. Is that part of this energy astrologically?
This is part of this whole blue wave. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Nancy Rebecca, the most recent one?
Oh my God, yes. I finally finished
So
it
I'm like
today.
on the third time through writing notes frantically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's that, but it's also, we are now out of the Pluto squaring the nodes. We're
Yeah.
out of that energy. And that's not going to come back because the nodes are going to move on. So even as Pluto does his little thing throughout this next year, and he will soon be going into Aquarius and be staying there until September.
Okay.
Then dip his toe, but only until November, because
Yeah.
by November 25th, he's back in Aquarius. So he's not spending much time in that retro phase there at all. But what's important right now is today is about fine tuning, which I would say a lot of what we were doing was fine tuning. It's we have two quincunxes in the sky. We have the sun. Where am I here? Sorry. We have we have Mercury just went into Capricorn, and tomorrow he's going to be sextiling Saturn, which is awesome. This is also talk. We talked about a lot of things, right? On December 4th, Venus is going into Scorpio, and then the next day she's going to have a trine to Saturn, which is going to be more of this release, because yesterday and today she's in conjunction with the South Node in Libra. Release, release, release. And she's moving quickly, and she's the morning battle gear right now. She's still a morning star. And these quincunxes, I just told somebody else about them, and now I can't find where I had them. Oh, the sun is quincunx to Jupiter, and then we have Venus quincunx to Neptune. So we have this ability to fine tune these little nuances that we all had to release today.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll do this again, you guys, soon. I feel like we've got another release in us that we can really let go.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. Warrior Girls, I was told February been horrible since the end of 2021. It's been a lot.
Yes, a lot of things are going to change throughout this next year and start to get stable in 2025 and 2026. And I know that sounds like a long way away, but look at how fast this has gone since the whole pandemic started.
And look at how fast it's gone, or how much better it's gone if we're not watching the news and we're not attached to MAGA and, not MAGA and we're not judging. It's just, we're just here in our plasma.
The other paradigm is the fact that time is not, we're going to find out that time is not linear.
Yeah.
It is speeding up. We know that, but it is as quickly as this year went by, next year's going to be even faster.
Yeah.
And then by 2026, there's just all these big shifts, planetary shifts, and more dwarf planets coming into play. And I'm just like, I can't get enough astrology, but I can't get enough of everything I try to do. So
you are so busy, Diana. I just love that. All right, everybody. Well, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much, Diana.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love coming.
Yeah, and if anybody wants an astrology reading, amazing astrology readings.
Thank you. And don't forget that we had that cannibal.
Oh yeah,
that ate
I
the
read about
little
that
one.
last night in bed.
That ate the little one and came at us and knocked over my fast flyer sled and my snowmen out in front of the garage door where they, are sheltered. No, everything was flying down the driveway.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. All right.
That's
Yeah. Okay, people. Much love, everybody. Bye-bye. Namaste.